you learn 3 types of pickles. One is a quick pickles, they call it quickles, where you can literally eat them with.
Yeah. Oh, that's. Can I just write that down, because that's the greatest word I've ever heard in my life? A quickle.
Get radio breakfast with Rich Smith.
As we continue our conversation celebrating 10 years of independent Oxford, chatting to the amazing indies that are across the county. And now it is all things pickle. I'm looking forward to this conversation. It's Fiona Cranston from Cranston Pickles. Good morning, Fiona.
Morning.
Thanks so much for joining us this morning. As you can probably tell in the sound of my voice, I'm excited. I'm excited by pickles. And I say it in a weird way, chutneys. That's for you to deal with and not me. That I always just say that. That's a mad one. Fiona, tell us all about Cranston Pickles, because there's a lot to get through. We've got pickle workshops, pickle shop, monthly supper clubs, everything like that. It's all pickles. I love it.
Yeah. So I started off, Cranston Pickles started off like selling pickles, like jars of pickles, chutneys and jams at market stores. And then it's become, and then while I was at the market stores, everyone always asked me what do you do with them? So that's what the supper clubs are. They basically have a pickle, chutney or jam or something pickly in each course to sort of show people how to use pickles within their cooking. But it's not always super pickly. Like if you're not a pickly person, it's still definitely worth coming to, because sometimes it's a jam or it's a bit of like a brine in a dressing or something. So that's what it's sort of evolved from that. And then now I also do pickle workshops as well, once a month, which has been really fun, actually. Really fun it's always a really good gang, and you have like a drink. We have a drink while we do it, and it's nice and casual. And you get to learn 3 types of pickles and then take them all home to eat later as well.
That sounds amazing. And actually something you sort of touched on, something that actually is going to be quite true. And this is even for me, and I'm as a fan of pickles and chutneys and what have you, they're an amazing thing, but they're in the cupboard, right? And you kind of go, can I put that with that, or is that going to ruin that, or is that going to overpower that? And then you kind of just, you just default. For me, sometimes you just default to like going, I just put it with some cheese.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a winner with cheese.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining.
But no, there's loads you can do. You can put it with like salads, like on the side of curries or anything sort of spicy. It sort of cuts through, especially if it's sweet. You can put it. It always makes a real good cheese toasty. That's like that's like something everybody likes. There's loads of stuff you can do with it. Yeah.
And with obviously with kind of I guess with pickle workshops and kind of seeing how everything is sort of made and sort of what goes into it, it dispels kind of the myths about it a little bit, and you kind of learn a little bit more about it, and it feels like you're kind of sharing your sort of knowledge and expertise and what have you about this industry, and going, actually, well, this one's nice, but you could do something yourself and go away and kind of create something in the future and what have you to make it special and unique and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. So like the workshops, like I teach you how to do it, but then you can, I tell people on the workshop, like it's kind of your own taste, as well as like once you've learned the basics, you can then go off and put like, if you like a certain spice, you can put that in. You can alter the sugar ratio if you want to be a bit healthier, or there's loads of stuff you can do really. So you can, once you learn the basics, you can just go forth and pickle whatever you like, really.
now, you could, but you can. That's interesting. It's almost like there are no boundaries with it. But and this just goes from looking at your website and going on the supermarket shelves and what have you, and looking around. It used to be. I treat it a little bit like the craft beer market, because that's something that I know or what have you. It used to be like, all right, you can have a lager or you can have Guinness, and that's it. And then it's like, all right. And now it's like, you can have a fruity one. You can have this one, a sour one, this one. And it's kind of the same with chutneys, that it's kind of like whatever you can imagine to chuck in and put it in, and kind of it comes out pretty well normally.
Yeah, as long as, I think you can pickle anything as long as you prep it right. Like sometimes you have to salt it to keep it crunchy. Sometimes you do a hot brine. So you just have to know how to prep it, basically. But yeah, you can pickle anything, I think. And it's all about balance as well. Like I'm all about balance. So like the sweet and the savoury and everything else involved in it as well.
And how long does it take? Is this a process where you're thinking sort of years ahead? Is there a pickling thing that you can kind of go, okay, well, this will be ready next week, or I've got no concept of it.
It's a mixture, really. So, like, say, like in the workshop, for example, you learn 3 types of pickles. One is a quick pickles; they call it quickles, where you can literally eat them with.
Oh, that's. Can I just write that down, because that's the greatest word I've ever heard in my life? A quickle. Oh, love that. Sorry, go on.
Right? I love how excited you are about pickles. It's great. So that one will be ready. Those are ready in like half an hour if you want them to be.
Wow.
And then there's like ones that are like in a hot brine, which you can eat straight away, but they're better after sort of like a day or something. And then they'll keep for like a couple of weeks or maybe longer, depending on the veg or the fruit. And then there's like a lot of the one I call the longevity pickle, which is like you salt it like overnight normally, and it draws all the moisture out, and then it will last for like 6 months, a year. They're the sort of longevity ones. So yeah, there's a real mixture. If you need some quick pickles, if people come out for dinner or something, they're great as a little snack if you're having beer. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing stuff. And my last little bit on this, I'm always unsure about what to do with kimchi. Now, I watch when I watch TikTok and what have you. One of my favorite people on there is What Will He Cook, and he uses it's almost like everything. He just grabs kimchi and just puts it in. He goes, "Oh, I've got some kimchi in the fridge," which I know a lot of people have. Look, here we are in Oxfordshire. This is exactly what I have. I'm exactly the same. And there's that kind of. He just goes, "Well, I'm just going to chuck a bit of that in." Can you dispel some myths, or can suggest some beautiful and wonderful things that we can chuck and add kimchi with?
Yeah. So kimchi is like you can just pop it on the side of your plate. They say it's like a good thing to get in the habit of doing like every day, because it's really good for your gut, like microbiome, like good for your gut. So you can just pop it on the side of whatever you're eating. Obviously, it sometimes depends on what you're eating, whether it will go or not, but you can put it on the side of rice. You can like do it in a stir fry. At one of my supper clubs, I sometimes do like a kimchi nabe, it's called, like a kimchi stew, like a Japanese stew, where you sort of fry it off and then you turn it into a stew. That's really delicious, and you get all the flavors amongst others as well. And yeah, you can fry it up and put it in stir fries and things. Yeah, it's quite versatile, because you can just eat it as it is, or you can like pan fry it, or again, great in a cheese toasty.
That's it. I love that. It's always default to cheese, isn't it? Get cheese in there, get somewhere, and it's an absolute winner. Well, thank you for dispelling some myths that I had about kimchi and what have you for that. And in terms of the kind of the future of pickling, is it kind of just more experimentation? Because I guess that when we sit down and you know what works, but I guess it's sometimes adding those left field things that you kind of go, actually, that should work, and that should work with that, and it does. A prime example here: pickled lemons with matcha and peppercorns. There's the matcha in there. There's that added sort of left field thing that goes, it stands out on the shelf, as it were.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite ones. It's really good. So it's kind of got like sour, sweet, salty, earthy, peppery. It's kind of got all the flavor profiles. So the brine that's in it, I always tell people, like, never throw that away, because it's really good in like drinks. Like if you're making like a G&T or a pickletini, or even like a non-alcoholic one, you can pop like half a segment in and a splash of the brine, and it just makes like a really delicious drink. Because it has the twang from the vinegar as well. But then also you can use it in like salad dressings and marinades. Like I did a supper club last night at Tap Social, and I did a sort of tahini miso salad dressing, but with the pickled lemon brine. So it's just like that's the kind of stuff I do. Is you can use every part of the jar. Because I always say with the pickles, never throw away the brine, because it's infused with all the delicious spices and things. So you can it's like a ready-made salad dressing essentially. You could just add olive oil or sesame oil to it. But you can also be a bit more creative if you want to. But yeah.
Of course. Well, Fiona, I mean, as you can probably tell, I could sit here all morning and chat pickles. We've also had two of the greatest words ever used on radio, quickle and pickletini. Which I will forever remember and enjoy massively. Fiona, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Just learning a little bit more about pickles as well. An amazing website. Head over to and see Fiona's incredible pickles. They look absolutely fantastic and wonderful. And trying to book a place on a supper club, but they seem to sell out pretty sharpish. Fiona, am I right?
Yeah, we do them every month. So it's kind of like, I have some regulars that come every month because it's always a different menu. And yeah, it's really, really good fun. So yeah, come down if you haven't come.
Definitely. Brilliant. Fiona, thanks so much for joining us this morning. It's been a real great chat.
Thanks for having me.
Brilliant stuff. Fiona Cranston there from Cranston Pickles. I love pickles. What can I say? I love pickles.